So this is a Bring a Trailer review for my 2005 Mini Cooper R53 with a 6-speed manual transmission. This Mini has just under 40,800 miles and was purchased new from Teeler Mini in Latham, New York. Now, you might notice that you don't hear any exterior noises, and that is because the audio and video were done at different times, and that is because I've been trying to film this car over a 2-day period, and the weather just wouldn't allow for it, and suddenly, shortly after this clip, the wind would roll in soon after the clouds and the sky would open up. So decided it was best for both of us to get the Mini Cooper back into the garage, and where we could have some good lighting and be able to get some close-up shots of the body so you know exactly what you're walking into when you are bidding on this 2005 Mini Cooper. So let's get on over to the garage and I'll tell you a little more about the car. So this vehicle came equipped from the factory with the following added options. It has leather seats, the combo number 3 cold weather package, which included heated washer jets for the windshield wiper fluid, heated mirrors, heated front seats, and the combo number 1 premium package that also has the multi-function steering wheel, dual pane panoramic sunroof, really enjoy that, automatic air conditioning, and onboard computer. The combo number 2 sport package with the dynamic stability control, front fog lights, and those xenon headlights up front. Now, this vehicle also has some individual options from the factory, such as the highly sought after in the R53 community cockpit chrono package, as well as rain sensing windshield wipers. Now, I am the third owner of this R53 and have put less than 600 miles on it since it was purchased from New York. I bought this vehicle not with the intent to place it on Bring a Trailer, but a project to tinker around with in the garage. I travel a lot for work, but lately with all the things going on in the world, I am now working more from home, which isn't a bad thing, and has allowed for significant more garage time, which I'm enjoying very much. However, now that this project is done, I'm actually considering getting another car, and to do that is going to require space, which this vehicle currently resides. Actually had to pull out 2 other vehicles to get this video for Bring a Trailer. So to do that, I am actually going to place it on here, which is the only reason why it is for sale. Now, I should mention that the original owner did a majority of the significant aftermarket parts and accessories, but I only performed what I like to call some light revitalization to bring this Mini back to its primetime condition. So let's talk a little bit about this car and what really caught my eye when I first bought it. So beyond the beautiful chili red paint, the fact that this has some excellent factory added options, as well as some rather low miles for the model year, what really got my attention was the fact it has some rather rare aftermarket components. So let's pop the bonnet. You can see how clean this engine bay is, and we'll talk about some of those. Now, we might not talk about every single aftermarket part that this vehicle has, such as those MSD superconductor wires and the NGK one-step coulter plugs, which were both replaced in the last 30 miles, by the way. But we're going to talk about some parts of, I don't know, let's call it historical significance to the R53 platform, and those being from Webb Motorsports, which are a air intake, a 15% supercharger reduction pulley, a 2% crankshaft overdrive pulley, as well as a short throw shifter. And why this is of significance is that Webb Motorsports, but really Randy Webb, its founder, is kind of like the godfather to the R53 platform in the early 2000s here in the United States, and that is because Randy was one of the very first aftermarket suppliers that was stateside. He was an enthusiast turned entrepreneur, making more power for his own 53, and decided to go ahead and do it for the entire community, essentially, if you wanted it, going to pulley parties from coast to coast. Becoming so successful, he actually left his job as a commercial pilot for a period of time to pursue it. Now, unfortunately, Webb Motorsports is no longer with us today, but the legend still remains. So I thought I should take a moment to give you a little bit of this nostalgia. Now, we know that the exterior and under the bonnet was well maintained, but what does the underbody say, which really tells the true story of this vehicle's life? Now, I was assured by the second owner that this car never experienced a New York winter and was always stored before salt or snow hit the road, which I believe is a testament to the truth due to the fact I could not find any rust of significance on the underbody, only finding surface rust on heads of bolts as well as some of the underside components. And let's face it, Mini Cooper was not using POR 15 on these parts, otherwise there would be none at all, and especially that of in the C channels on the driver and passenger side in this shot, which are typical rust areas for the R53. This car is clean. So let's take a moment to talk wheels and tires, as I did change them out upon acquiring the vehicle. This R53 is sitting on a beautiful set of Avid 1 AV36 17x8 with 35mm offset wheels and are wrapped in a beautiful rubber, which is a Firestone Firehawk Indy 500 215 45 17. And the best thing about this package is that it does not rub in either direction, whether on or off the throttle. Now, these wheels are no longer offered in a powder coat black, so what I did was order them, get them to my door, and send them over to a very reputable automotive powder coater called A+, who chemically stripped, blasted, and then put a powder coat primer and a final powder coat high gloss black, which where you see it right now, and then added an OEM Mini Cooper center cap to give it some factory appeal. And you might be noticing that those lug nuts are on the vehicle, and so that means that it does have the stud conversion kit, which was done by the original owner, and this entire assembly has less than 50 miles on it, so it is essentially brand new and ready for you. So here is the parts listing that we talked about earlier on in the video when we had popped the bonnet. I was kind of going over the history of this well-rounded R53. Now, I wanted to go ahead and split that into two segments because I find it important. One, because you know what parts are brand new on the vehicle. Also, that these components have all the receipts for them, whether it was for the powder coat for the wheels themselves, the tires, all the items listed here, those are new. Where on this list, no receipts are supplied. These components were done by the first original owner. The second owner was more of just a bridge. He just drove the vehicle, gave it an oil change, and that was just about it. Didn't put too many miles on the car. But the first and second owners are actually good friends and work together. So that is how the second acquired the car from the first. Just a little background for you. So yeah, there you go. So here we're going to give you an up close and personal view of this R53 to give you the most angles possible. There's that wheel and tire package we just talked about. And you might have noticed sitting behind it, sitting pretty, is a Detroit tuned 12-inch big brake kit. That, and here we have the blacked out with smoked lens fender turn signal, both done by the original owner. I went ahead and added black plastic covers to your door handles, fuel cap, and you might have already noticed the headlight bezels on the car. Just going around here on the quarter, you'll notice that there is no rust anywhere to be found on the fuel cap right there, typical around the fuel cap. And we're going to pause right here. You're going to see what looks to be a little fold in the tint. That was on the car when I got it. I liked the privacy, so I kept the tint, but it could be easily removed. I put on new logos on the trunk lid, the Mini Cooper, and the blacked out Cooper S logo, both OEM components. And here we have an up-close personal view of the belt line right there in black vinyl. Just went ahead and blacked it out, due to the fact that I don't see any other chrome on the exterior and I didn't want to see it. And you might have got a quick glimpse of those spider taillights. Now up front, we have a brand new upper and lower grille here. When I first bought the car, it had the Aero package grille up there, which is discontinued, but to an unfortunate discovery, it had a small hairline crack. So I went ahead and replaced the whole unit, but the original can be easily put back in if you prefer and will be included with the sale of the car. Now we're going to go back to the boot here. It is clean. We'll take a look at these jambs. Notice that the struts on the hatch are holding without issue. No rust back here whatsoever. Common area. Seals are in great condition. And here we're going to go ahead and take a look at the jambs on the driver's side as well as the door cards and the sills. The seals are in fantastic, almost look like new here. They're 15 years old. Just want to give you as many angles as possible so you have the best idea of the condition of this vehicle, which is in very good condition considering its age. That is the original paint on the hood. And over to the passenger side. Door jamb and door card are in great shape. And the jamb where it meets the body is perfect along with the door sill and seals. Let's move on over to the roof. So here is that classic Mini Cooper white top, which the R53 currently has, and it looks awesome. Now, unfortunately, when I got the car and acquired it from the first owner, it had a black vinyl wrap installed, and I quickly learned after removing it that it was most likely on for the majority of the vehicle's life, and I say unfortunately, due to the fact that I discovered the adhesive had sank into the clear coat, turning it a beige color. Now, I tried every trick in the book, buffing, you name it, it just wouldn't work. So I decided to throw in the towel and have it professionally repainted as well as the top of the hatch, the rear spoiler, and the caps of the side mirrors, so everything matched using Axalta Mini Cooper White, which is the world's premier paint brand. And in a moment, you're going to see what it looked like before. Oh, man, did it look bad. But that's what it was. I want to show you this, sticker bomb and all, so you understand that this car wasn't rolled over. There was no issues. It was simply adhesive. I had no choice. This is what needed done. And so I did it. And it looks fantastic. The results were superb. And in just a moment, you're going to see after I removed the adhesive and did a buff out, and you'll notice right away that there's a little bit of a beige tint that the camera is picking up. And there's that sticker bomb, not a fan. You also see that the antenna base has been shaved by the previous owner. I went ahead and replaced that with a new unit and new stubby antenna, and it looks and functions wonderfully. But yeah, that's a wrap. Literally, that's a wrap. That's what did in the roof, but now it is back to a pristine, clean condition. So while at the body shop, I decided that they did such an awesome job on the roof to see what it would be to repaint the front and rear bumpers. And I was told that with the Axalta paint in chili red, we could probably get a almost identical match, and that we did. They went ahead and repainted the rear bumper simply because the rear bumper had a few scratches and was missing the tow hook cap, had one of those tuner tow hooks in the rear, which I wasn't a huge fan of. So I was worried that if I only got the cap and repainted it, there would be a significant difference. So I repainted the whole bumper. I think I probably could have gotten away with just the cap itself, but painted the whole rear bumper because why not? And up front, did the same thing here. And also the hood scoop, because there was just simply paint fade. The front bumper just had your standard stone chips, and I wanted this thing to be as pristine as possible, and the paint matches just about perfectly. It looks awesome. But while they were there, they told me that the bottom lip was actually had some little bit of road rash underneath of it, and since it was already had the bumper off, they had all the trim pieces off. Do we want to replace it? So yes, we did. I called up OEM, BMW, and Mini Cooper up in Michigan. They told me that if I was going to replace the bottom lip, I also need to replace those side marker moldings as well, because they all fit together with a new design under Mini Cooper, and that's what we did. And we have all receipts to prove that those components are brand new. And just to show you that this car was not an accident, here's a little before, sticker bomb and all. Look at that thing. Yes, that is how I got the car, and the difference is real. But do you see that tow hook in the back there? Yeah, not a fan. Remove that, put the cap back in, and repainted that rear bumper. Again, the bumper could have easily buffed out. I was just maybe a little too attentive to detail, but you can definitely see that that hood scoop is of a different shade due to paint fade. And there is the Aero grille that originally came with it and will come with the car to the fourth owner. That was right after I got it and drove it back from New York, so it is a little dirty, ran into a storm. So now that we have looked at the wheels and tires, the paintwork that was done to the vehicle, let's take a look at the interior, where you will be spending a majority of your time, I hope, and not just staring at it in your garage as I do. Here's the deal. These seats are in impeccable condition. There are no rips and tears, and it's one of those rare circumstances where the driver's seat looks nearly or just as good as the passenger. And look at that center where you place your butt there. It's not sagging. That is typical. Get some leather stretch there. I think that is just due to the fact that the two previous owners were a little bit smaller in size and saved that driver's seat from significant wear. Everything works as it should. The emergency brake, your seat warmers can get you nice and toasty if you decide to take this on for a nice fall drive. Shifts as it should. That shifter looks great. Steering wheel, all functions of that multi-function steering wheel operate flawlessly. And let's take a look at the passenger side. Now again, no rips and tears, anything of that nature in the passenger seat. For the passenger seat here, it just looks awesome. Again, no sagging, anything like that. Those are the original factory floor mats that came with the car. Look at that, no rips or tears. This is a non-smoker Mini Cooper. Smells great in there. And just to give you another clarity here, we're just doing a little overview, a little zoom out, if you will, and we're going to come on in a moment to look at the glass here. Yep. And we're going to go ahead and just one more time, another shot that I thought I missed was right where the roof meets the windshield. Just want to give you that. It's a nice shot there. That Exalta Mini Cooper white paint. Just, oh man, does that look great. Now let's go ahead and go into the glove box. Now I wanted to retain the factory stereo system, but I added the Mini Cooper auxiliary port and routed it into the glove box and utilized that blank off plate that could have been for USB, and it looks factory, it looks great. I'm also going to supply a little auxiliary to lightning cable cord for you for your iPhone users out there. Now let's take a look at the headliner. It is in great shape. Again, this was a non-smoker vehicle. It's not stained, it's not sagging, it looks excellent. That seal around the sunroof is in great condition. Just go ahead and go all the way back, get some angles. There's also some photos on the Bring Your Trailer website of that headliner, but nothing is missing. Everything is there. Looks phenomenal. And there's that little side view of the Chronos package. And here is that stereo system. Excellent. Now, I just want to quickly go around right now to the imperfections. There's only two imperfections on this vehicle. That is the tint that we pointed out earlier, and here we go. The first owner, I think, just limited to the fact of not having all the aftermarket components in the early 2000s, zip tied the boost gauge to that center console there and drilled 2 holes. Not really noticeable unless you are looking for it, but that's all I could find. So as we go into the interior, you'll notice that the boost gauge is illuminated and the vehicle is running. No check engine lights are on. We'll also take a look at that factory head unit and see that all the pixels are there, none are out. That the heated seats function and are operational and will keep you warm on those cold nights. As well as that tire pressure indicator button with the illuminated light. And just to show you that the vanity lights are also operational and that center map light is operational. The light in the rear is also functioning. So a common problem with the R53 is that the driver's side locking solenoid can go out, and that was the case when I purchased this vehicle. It has since been replaced with OEM equipment, and all receipts will come with the purchase of the car. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the lights here. These are the running lights on the R53. Nothing exciting here about to turn on the xenon headlights. The vehicle is not started at this point, so I really should have started the car because they do take a little bit of power to get those lights on, and here we go. They look great. Definitely can see why these were an added option. And I have the brights on. There you go. So everything functions as it should. And here is the passenger side turn signal. Up front and at the fender. And here is the driver's side turn signal up front and at the fender. And here we have the running lights on with those beautiful spider taillights. And you'll also notice there are LED license plate lights right there, which have resistors, very important, with new BMW socket covers. Now we have the brake lights on. Let's hit them again. You'll see that third brake light illuminates no problem. Backup lights. Brand new bulbs, the driver's side turn signal, and finally, the passenger side turn signal. So a common issue are window actuators on the R53 Mini Cooper, and we have no problem. Here we have the driver's side windows going up and down without a hitch. And now moving on over to the passenger side. Just getting some good body shots, if you will, while we're here. And there's the passenger side window going down. No issues. And finally, let's go ahead and get that sunroof. And all the way back to the closed position. Everything's run smooth, no issues whatsoever. And to wrap up the light segment for the exterior are the 4 corner lights for the R53. And this will finish up the video. I gotta say, I enjoyed filming this. I'm gonna miss this car. I really hope that the next owner enjoys it as much as I did, even though my ownership was short-lived. I feel as though I resurrected, revitalized, and put this thing back on the map to where it should be for such a low mileage Mini Cooper, ready to sit in your garage. So happy bidding and have a wonderful holiday. Cheers.